Everybody, thank you for joining us. Sorry for the technical glitches here. Appreciate your participation and that of our panelists. We are going to start with a short video for those of you who don't know anything about SMARTfit and don't know very little about it. And then we're going to turn it over to Kathy Lamberti, our founder and CEO, to tell you a little bit more about SMARTfit and how it got started. And then we will turn it over to our panelists, Riley Smith and Jane Hansen from the Collier Marco Island YMCAs and Jamal Barrow from the Saratoga Regional YMCAs. So let me get started. I'm going to start you with a quick video.
My name's Kathy Lamberti. I'm the founder and CEO of SMARTfit. So just to give you a quick background, I'm a former school teacher that got frustrated at just witnessing us having to sit kids down all day. And it bothered me a lot. So when I had the opportunity to change careers, I went and joined IBM. I learned technology. And then I opened my own company and sold it well and followed my dream to come to the United States. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a technology that can train the brain and body in a way that's consistent with our DNA. We evolved under hundreds of thousands of years, engaging our brains and our bodies in a certain way. And that is, we put our minds to something, and this could be a baby, it could be a senior, and it could be a high-performance athlete. But basically, we put our minds to something that we want to do with our bodies, and then we throw our bodies at it until we develop the ability to do. So everything we do in life involves what we call executive function demands, problem solving, cognitive flexibility, decision-making, and planning. You do that in your brain, and then you send the instruction system to your motor system, and your motor system then develops the skills to do. And the more you practice, the better you get at it. And ultimately, what we're trying to achieve is what we call automaticity. So we go from conscious incompetence to conscious competence to unconscious automaticity, which is you don't think about it. So why was I, as a school teacher, just frustrated about the fact that we were not developing children in the school system this way? So the more research I did, the more it became clear that kinesthetic children especially need to be moving their body and engaging their body while they develop their skills. So that's the background. When I came to the United States, I started to develop technologies that could do that. And I was responsible in the early days for a product called SportWall. Billie Jean King helped me develop it, and we took it to market, and we're pretty successful. But I was frustrated because it was just lights, and I wanted to have targets that had placed a cognitive demand on the person so that they would engage their body to solve the problem. So as you saw in the video, that's basically what I've been working on for the last 20 years. In 2011, I met Jim Manley, who's an absolute genius at technology and developing technology. And he wanted to give back. He had been very, very successful with his career, but he wanted to give back. And so he joined forces with me to do this. And it became a very, very difficult thing to do. If you look at what had to be done, anyone who understands the PC platform, you've got Microsoft Windows that supports PCs, but then on top of Microsoft Windows, you've got applications like Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, etc. Now, when I met Jim, he said we need to do something very different because we wanted to be able to present a 360-degree training environment, as like in this picture, with up to 128 targets that would demand cognitively in a scalable way, and then also provide a similar motor demand. So there you go. 10 years later, we've created what we call the SMARTfit platform. And in this platform, we offer 5 different product lines, our own unique operating system that can present cognitive demands at the speed of the fastest human on Earth. And this is why Jim had to develop his own operating system to do this. And then the targets are not just lights. Each target is a computer, and it presents cognitive demands. So now we have this technology. We then moved into developing application software, and we started off with rehab. And that is when the University of Southern California came to us and said, do you realize you've got a breakthrough here with neurodevelopment, especially for Parkinson's and stroke and concussion? And I went, no, we're doing this for children. He said, no, you're doing it for medical, because dual tasking is well documented to produce the fastest results. When you train the cognitive system and the motor system together, the transference is fastest. So I went, oh, that makes total sense with how we evolved. If we've been doing this for hundreds of thousands of years, then it's a natural development that you put your mind to it, you throw your body at it, you get the skill to do it, and practice creates perfection. And then movement and performance without having to think about it. So that was what we've developed. And so I just wanted to give you that insight into it. It was hard to do. And the reason I'm excited about this is that we have been working on solutions with the YMCAs in mind. With the previous company, we had about 350 YMCAs and about 3,000 schools. But having developed the medical solution, and then when USC conducted the tests on Parkinson's, our results came forward as being more efficient than the best physical therapy. And this is where my heart really got into this, because I was meeting with Dr. Beth Fisher, who conducted our study, and she was also the professor that proved that physical exercise can slow the onset of Parkinson's. And I said to her, okay, so now that we have a technology that can help people with Parkinson's, where do we go? And she looked me deep in the eyes and she said, community centers, YMCAs, because they can reach the people who can't afford physical therapy. And she said, that is where the need is. Every 6 minutes, someone is being diagnosed with Parkinson's, and we need to help them. So that was like fire to it for me. So Jim and I have taken, the last, that study was completed in 2020. So we've just spent these last few years making sure that we have a product line that can allow you to start what we call dual task training, cognitive motor training, with as little as $5,000. And then you can add components to it depending on who you're wanting to focus on. If you want to focus on the total general population, then we have a product line that can address the children, the preschoolers, the grandparents, the active ages, and the high performance athletes. We have solutions for everybody. And some of these solutions are just a software switch. We also have personal training, self-help training, small group training, and large group training. All of that now has come to the fore. So I'm finally feeling really good that we can offer personal training for someone with Parkinson's, or a high performance athlete, or an active ager trying to defend themselves from getting dementia. Or we can run a large group with 20 people in the group and still have a similar effect. One of the big things that I always wanted to do was have data and provide data. So we've done a tremendous amount of work in the last 3 or 4 months with regard to tracking individuals' data while they are in a group training class. So I'm excited about that. But I think I've talked enough, and I'm available at the end when it comes to questions and answers. But for me, I just have to be honest with you, this is more of a ministry than a job. And I know Jim feels the same way, that we have a calling, and the team, we're a small team of 15 people, but we've got the resilience. We are lion-hearted because this was hard to do. And what has kept us going is just the 900 customers we have already, just how we changed lives. And I think there's nothing more joyful than working really hard and then being able to see the effects of your work on how we help people, especially vulnerable people. So I'm going to hand over back to Tom.
Thank you, Kathy. Let me turn this over to we'll start with Riley and Jane down in Marco Island, who managed to dodge the worst of the hurricane that just came through there. Riley, let me turn it over to you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Hello there, Tom. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Riley, and I have Jane here with me. We are with the YMCA of Collier County at the Marco Island campus here on Marco Island, Florida. I am the Healthy Living Director here, and also I am a personal trainer and Rock Steady boxing coach, as well as SMARTfit trainer. Here at our Marco Island campus, we've got many programs for those with Parkinson's. We've got Rock Steady boxing. We have introduced Parkinson's power moves, which Jane led, completely seated. We have a care partner support group, and then also SmartFit. The Rock Steady boxing and power moves are our group-based programs, and then SmartFit is that one-on-one individualized sessions. We were able to bring the SmartFit to our YMCA at the beginning of 2023. At this point, we are using the SmartFit with any demographic. But when we brought it here originally, we did begin that focus with those with Parkinson's disease because of the multitasking ability with that. We directly thought of using it for those with Parkinson's disease. So we started it up with that, kind of pairing it with our Rock Steady boxing program, which I can let Jane expand a little bit on that here in a little bit. So we kind of had our two programs, Rock Steady Boxing and SMARTfit, done separately. They would work with Jane in class in a group setting and then schedule with a trainer to work on the SMARTfit for those additional dual tasking and cognitive tasks with the SMARTfit. And then during the summer months, we are seasonal here in Marco Island. So our numbers do drop. People move back up north during the summer months. So we were able to have a little bit more time. So during the Rock Steady Boxing classes, we were able to actually incorporate SMARTfit into the class. So our participants for Rock Steady Boxing were paired with a partner, and they were able to have a 30-minute partner session at the end of their Rock Steady Boxing class. So that was free of charge for the entire summer months that they were able to actually participate in the SMARTfit, and it was included in the Rock Steady Boxing. A couple ways that we have showcased our SMARTfit. Also, we have done a couple different open houses to showcase in the community, and our donor actually, who donated the machine to our YMCA, developed a news article to share the SMARTfit with the community, and we were able to host a couple open houses and share information and give some demonstrations. And this upcoming Saturday, we will be doing a community event to showcase the SMARTfit as well. So we're very excited about that. Right now, we have 30-minute sessions and 45-minute sessions for the SMARTfit. And we typically recommend to begin with a 45-minute session. And in that first session, we will conduct various assessments. We typically do the dual task cost assessment. And then the following sessions, we'll typically do 30-minute sessions to work on various programs, and then reassess and do another 45-minute a few weeks after that. And we've just gotten a lot of great feedback, great progression, both physically and cognitively, and dual tasking. We just spoke to one of our other trainers right before this webinar, and one of her clients has mild cognitive impairment. And he said that after just working with the SMARTfit for a couple of weeks, he has noticed his attention during conversations is much more focused, and he described himself as not feeling as spacey anymore. So he has felt much more clear-headed, even just within a couple of weeks of using the SMARTfit machine. So that's kind of an overview of how we have used the SMARTfit machine. It's worked very well for our YMCA to pair it to go hand in hand with our other Parkinson's programs. It gives that additional step, that one-on-one focus versus that group-based class. But our Rock Steady Boxing program is very popular for that social connectiveness and achieving all of those exercise recommendations. But that multitasking, which the SMARTfit accomplishes with that individualizedness, is really important as well to prevent the progression of Parkinson's. So that's been a really important addition, and it's continuing to grow, and it's been really great for our YMCA. So I can go ahead and hand it off to Jane, who is our Rock Steady Boxing head coach, personal trainer, SMARTfit head trainer here at our YMCA of Collier County.
Well, hi, I'm Jane Hansen, and as Riley mentioned, I'm the head Rock Steady Boxing coach. And in addition to that, I'm trained with Parkinson's Wellness Recovery, or Power Moves. And actually, I try to integrate the best of both of those programs. I've long been interested in preventing cognitive decline. One, as I'm aging myself, it's not something that I want to experience, or if anybody's had a loved one with dementia, it's a pretty horrendous thing to experience, or to have a loved one who has it. So I started to be interested in about preventing cognitive decline for myself. But then when obviously I'm reading the literature about the high rate of cognitive impairment and dementia with people with Parkinson's, I wanted to do anything I could to try to mitigate that. And I was originally doing my own thing with including dual task activities in my class, but I really struggled with the fact that it's not individualized. So I can be teaching a class and have 20 participants, and I may have them walk back and forth the gym doing big movements and perhaps count back or state the months months of the year backwards. And what I find is then I'll say, okay, and if that's pretty easy for you, I want you to skip every other month. And what you find in a group fitness class is that some people have it, they could probably skip 2 months and do it just fine. And you're going to have others that are good with going backwards. And then you're going to have some that just struggle. And unfortunately, you're going to have some in a group fitness class that weren't even able to process what I was asking them to do. And so I really struggled with, am I being effective as a rock steady boxing coach or with power moves? How do I know I'm being effective? Fortunately, I had already done Ryan Glatt's brain health trainer program, which is really good. And then one day, our wonderful donor, Kelly Willenborg, who donated SmartFit to us, stopped in after my class, and she was talking about dual tasking. I said, yes, I know all about it. And then she told me about SmartFit, and I'm going like, what? I seriously thought I had hit the lottery. Like, you have a machine that does that can do baseline assessments and can do cognitive assessments and can be individualized and personalized. And oh man, it was just amazing. But like, I'm sure some of you out there that are learning about SmartFit, I really had a hard time wrapping my head around it. And I kept saying to Kelly, I'm really struggling trying to understand this. And so it's good that you are showing the video so people can start to, wrap their head around it. So anyway, we've been doing it with our people with Parkinson's and other people, and we're seeing tremendous improvements in not only their scoring in terms of dual task cost assessments, where you've got data that shows the improvement you're making, but just anecdotal story after story of how it's made a change in people's lives. And to me, that's what it's all about, because I can look at data and see numbers and say, yes, your reaction time decreased by 30%. That's wonderful. And it may prevent you from falling and fracturing a hip and not leaving the hospital. So, hey, that's great. But to hear that it makes a difference with their ability to live their lives and their functional movements, and hopefully prevent the need for more intense care. So we see those kinds of gains with people that are using SmartFit.
Thank you, Jane. Appreciate that. I was particularly taken by the way with the one story you had about the gentleman who found that he could actually cook again because he could connect the dots between the recipe and and reading the recipe and actually doing the cooking. That story we share with everybody at one point. So.
Right. Well, so actually, thinking about this presentation, one of my other favorite story is I have a gentleman with mild cognitive impairment that I've been working with him, not for a long time, maybe 5-6 weeks, once a week sessions. And he came in for a session and he announced to me that SmartFit was working. And I go, oh my goodness, it's only been 5 times. Can you tell me about that? And he said, yes, that he was cleaning out the garage and he was getting organized, and he had this office, and he had let things piled up and he wasn't taking care of that. And boy, was his wife happy. And that he was getting so organized. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I mean, of course, I'm a clinical social worker, so I'm wondering about what else could be impacting this. Could it have been as he started to become hopeful? And when people are hopeful, they do hopeful things. And so once he was starting to make steps in terms of his fitness, was that perhaps what it was? Or I'm just kind of striking myself. So I nod and go, oh, well, that's great to hear. And it wasn't until I went home and I reflected on what all those skills are involved in cleaning out your garage and getting it organized. And then I realized it's all of those executive function skills, those skills that we see when people have like an attention deficit disorder. So you have to plan. You have to plan how you're going to tackle this. You have to sequence what you're doing. You have to keep track of what you just did and not become distracted by something else you see in the garage that might need your attention. But it also, to me, when I work with people with attention deficit disorder, they really have a hard time just getting started because anything that takes all those executive function skills can become so overwhelming to them. And then I had to laugh. I thought, you're right. It is SmartFit. And SmartFit did, I think, in a short time, start to make some changes for this gentleman. So there you have it.
Great story. Thank you. Jamal, I'm going to turn it over to you. Kind of you've had SmartFit now for quite some time. You have a mini low impact that you can take around the building to various places. Over to you.
Yes, thanks, Tom. So for those who don't know me, I'm Jamal Barrow. I'm the Health and Wellness Director here at the Saratoga Regional YMCA in upstate New York, Saratoga Springs. We've been using SmartFit since late 22, early 2023. And for a little bit of background on how and why we got involved with SmartFit, basically that came out of our strategic plan coming out of COVID. Part of the our Y strategic plan was really focusing on more health-based issues and initiatives rather than just fitness. So of course we have fitness facilities, but a lot of it was what we were going to see if we can figure out how do we impact the health in our communities beyond just fitness. So a little bit of background also coming out of COVID, the largest migration of active older adults out of New York City was into our county in Saratoga County. So we had the largest migration of active older adults or seniors from New York City, whether it be retirees, people moving to just reduce costs, things like that. So recognizing that, and also with the community health needs assessment of one of our major hospital partners, Saratoga Hospital and Albany Med, their community health needs assessment basically said the top 3, or of the top 5, two of the needs health-wise involved brain health. So of course, cancer, heart disease, obesity were in those top 5 as well, but 2 were brain health. And we already address things regarding those first 3. So we run our diabetes prevention program, blood pressure self-monitoring, Live Strong, et cetera. But we said to ourselves, okay, how do we help affect more people? Also, if we have more active older adults, the likelihood of Parkinson's and other brain-related diseases are higher with this population. And how do we address, with our programs, services, how do we address that? On top of that, our recent expansion of our campus here in Saratoga involved the migration of the local senior center in Saratoga Springs to our campus. So seeing that we were already have a large active older adult population in Saratoga County, as well as a large active older adult member base, now we were going to be seeing an even larger volume of active older adults with the senior center relocating to our property. So bringing that all to one circle, it was basically how are we going to address their needs, not just fitness, not just exercise, but things that are health-based that may have no cure, so, such as Parkinson's, dementia, and so forth. And so I had the pleasure of meeting Tom a couple years ago and kind of seeing SmartFit in person and understanding why it was invented, how it can help participants, how it can help brain health, how it can help brain training, and then figuring out how it worked with the programs that we were looking to offer at the time. So similar to Riley and Jane, we do offer Parkinson's related programs here. We do offer pedaling for Parkinson's. We also offer power moves as well. And we offer Rock Steady also. So I'm a head coach for our Rock Steady program here. We incorporate SmartFit into all of those programs and even more than that. But specifically related to Parkinson's, we do it with our power moves. We do it with our Rock Steady boxing. We take portions of our classes and apply it to that. So for example, we do it with some of our balance training. So just think of a sit to stand with trying to find the numbers, or sit to stand with trying to do math, which is always interesting. But just using it in a number of programs, it is especially helpful. And more importantly, it makes it fun for the participants. So, for example, a lot of people may not like exercise. They know they need to do it, but they may not necessarily enjoy it. Thankfully, we have excellent coaches of these programs that do make it fun. But SmartFit is one of those quote unquote coaches. So, SmartFit makes it fun for them, whether it be at the beginning of a class or at the end of a class. Incorporating SmartFit into that training, that could be a station. If you're doing, even if it's not a Rocksteady program or something licensed, making it, as part of your balance exercises, part of your stability exercises. It really makes it fun and engaging for the participants as well. We do use it as part of our active or adult balance and stability courses as well. So we offer like a 7-week course for those outside of the Parkinson's and brain health realm, just to practice, falls prevention. We use it in that program as well. So we found ways to use SmartFit in all facets of our populations. We are just getting into the realm of working with our younger population as far as education and brain training as well, because brain training doesn't necessarily start when you only when you have Parkinson's, or only if you're over a certain age. That really starts from a younger age. So we've really I can't speak enough about SmartFit on how it's helped us in terms of enhancing our programming and really bringing people into the fold. And actually today we just had a meeting with one of our major Parkinson's donors, the Parkinson Foundation here locally, who as of 2023 had committed to donating $10,000 to our association to fund these programs. We had them last year commit to 15,000, and we just had a meeting today where they're willing to commit double that for next year. And a lot of that comes through seeing SmartFit and us using SmartFit. And we've actually been to a couple of events locally with one of our local associations, not associated with us, with Parkinson's events. And we've actually put SmartFit up in the van because we have the mobile version. We've driven it down to Albany, which is the capital, about 30 minutes south. And we've presented there with SmartFit. And really people have seen what this really does for us, what it really does for their participants. And while it's unfortunate that we are the only Rocksteady boxing affiliate right now in upstate New York, we have a lot of people coming to us from, say, Albany, further north, even a couple hours away that have either participated in the program, whether it be on an event basis, like a one-time event, or for program sessions. It's really something that we've been able to really expand awareness of. But a SmartFit is a lot of that. Like I said, that's something that we can easily take to another association. We've been up to Syracuse. We've been down, downstate into Westchester County and Albany as well. And really it's just seeing SmartFit and seeing what it does and seeing how you can do brain training to help address any needs in your community, whether it be balance, stability. Sometimes it can be strength-based. And of course, with brain health related matters such as Parkinson's, dementia, et cetera. So I can't speak enough about it. And like I said, because of this awareness and using SmartFit, we've been able to solicit donations to fund these programs that are important to us, that may also be, tough to fund and things like that. So just speaking to that as well, SmartFit's been an incredible partner with us as far as support, the product itself. And like I said, our participants have fun with it. And that's really the best thing that we can say for it, is that, like I said, people love exercising or don't like exercising, but no one says they don't like exercising with SmartFit, because it's a really fun experience. But it's also, I think Jane mentioned it, it's really, as far as the data is concerned, you really can take this data using, say, assessments with SmartFit and use it with your donors and your partners to say, this really does work. So sometimes people will, give testimonials with words, but we have the data as well as our testimonials and our member comments, et cetera, to really say that SmartFit works.
Excellent. I appreciate that. I know we've got one of our speakers next week are also taking that mobile system around. They've even got a contract with local senior facility that they go in every 2 weeks. So it's exciting to see what's happening out there. I appreciate everybody's time making and effort putting these together and telling your stories. I'm going to open it up for questions. Are there any questions that right now that anybody has for any of our panelists or Kathy or me? please let us know. You can either type them in and I can answer them that way, or if we're able to hear you, please step up. Sharon Allen says, how can we apply for a grant? Sharon, I will send you, and I'll send everybody on this list, what we call our YMCA grant template or donor grant template. It's a 2-page document. They're very easy to customize. That's the answer to your question. By the way, guys, also see Kelly Willenborg on this call. She was mentioned by Riley earlier for the donation she made to the Marco Island YMCA. Thank you, Kelly. Very much appreciate your participation and your patience with our technical glitches. Kathy?
Yes, if we've got a few minutes, I wouldn't mind showing a little bit of the children's programming, just because we've talked a lot about older adults, but my heart's in the kids as well. And, you know, the toddlers, you know, imagine them if it's just such an exciting program and not very expensive to start implementing movement-based learning with children. So one of the things on our website, you can see there's a tab called the SMARTfit difference, and then the gamification explained. So the core of our technology is the ability to ignite cognitive and motor engagement with a game, because the game puts you into a real life situation and you act like it's real, and then you want to solve it. And the way you solve the questions of the game is you solve it with your motor system and your body. So that's what you would have seen in the video. But just to show you the scope of the games, and why I'm showing you this is basically to show you how it covers the scope of everybody. So the first batch there, you see low cognitive, high motor skills games. So these first 6 games are rally, that's great for ball play. Then it's like knock the lights out, and it's you want to blast off energy with kids, you go and do that one. And then we have track, which is the first of the educational games, whereas one target will light up like A, and then they strike that, and then it's B. So if I'm teaching kids the alphabet or counting or step counting or the basics of multiplications, just one at a time. It's a A, and then where's the B? And then they've got to run around and look for the B and strike the B. So it's like a treasure hunt looking for the next letter or the next answer. So, and then we go to the track left, right, both. That's crossing hemispheres. You all know that everybody needs to have good interconnection with the 2 hemispheres of the brain. So we've got a very good program for that. Then we have the chase and the go, no go. This is impulse control, but also reaction skills training. And again, similar content where you have to go when it's time to go and not go when it's not time to go. And so this is a lot of working memory training. Okay. And then we go to what we call the high cognitive games. The first one is seek, multiple choice. So once you know your numbers, your math, your step counting, your spelling, once you have learned that in the one target at a time in the scenario, now we start to add complexity with multiple choice. So you get to chase, say, you do the alphabet, but now you might have 3 targets turned on, or 6 targets turned on, or 9 targets turned on, or if you've got a big pro trainer, there's 27 targets turned on, and you have to find the right one. So the more skilled you are with your motor skills, the more complex we can make this multiple choice game. And of course, what's it doing? It's improving these 2 domains of the brain, attention and executive function. Metronome is fabulous because now you have to add an auditory listening to come into sync with the striking of the targets. And this is very, very good for anybody with ADHD, any form of attention issues. And by the way, our kids today all have this problem because they're all on their cell phones and that. So a really, really good game is to learn to get them, well, I call this the in the now game. How to become present. Why? Because that's where the working memory is. That's where your access to learned information and then the application of learned information. So metronome becomes an extremely important game for anybody with ADHD. including executives who have ADHD. I had one executive who would come in for a workout during his lunch hour so that he could function well in the afternoon. And it works. And then we have pattern recognition, really good for working memory. Again, this is memory and attention, paying attention. Kids need this in a big way, but everybody needs this. And then we go to the high cognitive games. Now, with each one of these games, you're not just tapping them, you're applying a motor skill. You could be playing with a ball, with a bat, with drumsticks, with your hands, with boxing gloves. It doesn't matter. These systems are designed to take a beating. So it doesn't matter how you strike them, because that's what they're good at. Stroop, any speech therapist is going to just freak out over some of these high cognitive games, because these are speech therapy, high cognitive, neurocognitive games that we've introduced as a game. So Stroop is one, Flank is another, Horsey Block, Digit Span, Serial Sevens. These are all very high cognitive games that you add in, especially when you have seniors who are really, really, really smart, but they have physical issues like Parkinson's, they've had a stroke, they have mobility issues, they may have had hip replacements, etc. Or they're in a wheelchair. These people get really frustrated because intellectually they're so smart. So you can add these high cognitive games, keep them very, very challenged cognitively while you work their motor skills and bring their strength and conditioning up. So they are very valuable. The memory games, we have 3 sets of memory games. I love memory sequencing. If ever I'm visiting you, I'll take you all on. This is one I like to win. So it's a lot of fun. And it's all about working memory. These are all working memory games. And then we have equations. These involve, and again, seniors who have long-term memory, but they don't have good short-term memory, they love this game because they know their multiplications, their divisions, their square roots. They can do all of that, but they might not be good with the short-term memory games, right? So you mix them up and you build their confidence, and then you give them a working memory game like finding the pairs, right? So kids also really good to, I call it cognitive agility training. Kids that can, and we are really up against this problem with the cell phones and the instant gratification of technology. You'd be surprised. Our systems look pretty clunky next to a cell phone, but they love the systems. They love the challenge because they are answering the game with their bodies and they're building skill. And you'd be surprised at how you can take a gaming kid and help them develop sports skills. And I've got some incredible stories coming out of boys and girls clubs where we're just transforming kids there. The non-social kids, what they call the geeks, the kids that don't play sports. Well, you'll probably find a lot of kids don't play sports because they don't know how to throw and catch a ball. So SMARTfit is very, very successful at getting them to play the game. You know, they're smart, they can do their equations. Well, do your equations with a ball. And then after a while, they can throw and catch a ball. And then you'll find that they've been included on the playgrounds. I've heard too many stories like this. It's just fabulous. Team building, mental health. We are in multiple juvenile detention centers because it calms the kids down. They get to exert cognitively and physically, and they are less aggressive. We have a lot of evidence that this works in reducing out-of-school suspensions, aggression, bullying. All of that tends to calm down. And then the other thing that I love as a teacher is we have what we call, a lot of these games are competitive, but they also have team games. And in the team games, if you mix up the teams right, you tend to find that the skilled kids start to adopt the weaker team members and start coaching them. And you see some pretty transformative stuff. And then finally, we have spelling, where you can upload the spelling words of the week. And, you know, kids that can't remember their spelling words, well, why don't you strike, spell out the words with a basketball or a soccer ball, Great way to learn. This is a great way to learn your words, your mental arithmetic, how to think. All of this gets taught while you're while you're playing ball. It's just fun, And then I think what I'd like to do is just share a story about a little girl with autism. We have these systems in multiple centers for autism, but we had a person we were doing business with who had a 5-year-old daughter, non-speaking, in diapers. And I said, would you mind, bringing her over? I'd like to see if the system works. He said, well, if she'll stay on the system for 5 minutes, I'll be super, super excited and happy. And they came over the first time and they stayed 45 minutes and we had to close the business. And so we ended it. The child didn't end it. We ended it. And then they came a little earlier the second time and the child ran from the car all the way into the factory, all the way to the gym, and went up and started picking up her weights and her dumbbells and all these different things and started playing on her own. And she was doing letters and numbers, and identifying colors. So I just know this works with everyone. I've also seen 2-year-olds be inspired and learn the alphabet in minutes, So we've held all of this stuff about the kids back because going into medical and then going into older adults, we were told that if everyone sees this as a lot of fun for kids, they won't take us seriously. So we've held our best opportunities back. But the teacher in me doesn't want to do that anymore. I really, really think it's important that YMCAs know that if you invest in our solutions, you can share those with every department. And I think that goes to the moral of the story is we want to give you a tremendous amount of value with what we do. And the big thing is, and Jim is on this call, my business partner, Jim, and honestly, you've never come across a smarter engineer on this planet, but also the kindest, sweetest man. And his wife is a teacher as well. And we're just dedicated to bringing movement into learning for the youth. And that applies to older adults. I mean, retirement should not mean sitting back and watching TV. Retirement should be engaging in a different way. And you offer incredible opportunities for the entire population. So just from Jim and myself to you, we just, we're here, and we're here for the long haul. And what I want you to know is that we listen to our customers. And what's so important about that is that our customers have told us what they need. And what you will see in this technology is the result of 900 customers telling us what they need. And prior to SMARTfit was SportWall, and there were thousands of SportWall customers who told me what they would love to see. And so what we have today is the culmination of over 20 years of my life and work into bringing forward these solutions. So I'm showing you a little picture of the youth programs. Under here, under youth, we have special needs, education, youth sports, and recreation. So you can put the systems in a team room. You can put it in for the little kids. And just to finish off, the little girl with special needs, this is her. This video covers a few special needs. The video starts off someone in a facility in New York. And I'll run this and then we can open to questions. So here's our little girl. And this is the brother of TJ, super athletic, but a great kid. And here she is, just staying at it, 45 minutes. Motor coordination, And then we have a special, here she is, Nia, getting very excited about learning the alphabet. And here's the strike pods that you can put anywhere, hang them on a wall, put them on the floor, put them on stands. And then more special needs. And I think we're going to end up with a high school in Miami. Yeah. Learning the alphabet. This is a high school, special needs high school, very athletic child in a special needs class, but he's learning his, I think he's doing multiplications. You see the red target is asking the question. And here, this little kid's going to run, play colors. He's chasing the yellow one. Watching, developing motor coordination. Okay. Sorry, back to you, Tom, and questions.
I think we've got them all. We talked about it. Kelly, if you're still on, I'm assuming you are. Ballpark, as Kathy said, the range on SmartFit that starts for as little as 5,000 for the strike pods. It goes up to 50 or 40 for a 4-station pro trainer, and then everything else falls in between. So the Ys that you saw today both have mini systems. Those range from 7,000 to about 15, depending on the model. And then the group next week at the West Morris YMCA in New Jersey, they have a Pro Trainer 3. They have a mini portable, like you heard Jamal talk about, and they also have strike pods. So, and they're servicing all populations in group settings and camps, things like that as well. So, I will. That's a ballpark, Kelly. I'll specifically get back to you with cost. Anybody else that would like a quote or would like to talk more about what your situation is and what might work best for you, please feel free to reach out and we'll set something up. Again,
And anyone who would like to reach out to me or have a demonstration on Zoom where we can address your particular needs, absolutely just reach out to me and we can set up a Zoom and we can show you the app and how it works and in any scenario. I'm super excited about the new stuff coming out for group training. So please reach out. I'm very, very available. Thanks.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to talking to you soon.